become best friends?
Yup.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Big part of friendship.
I like you. Do you like me?
I do like you.
You are my friend?
You're a nice young man, and I am your friend.
Shut up, mate. We're not friends now. I don't need you anymore.
You're my best friend.
Friend requests.
The friend request?
Why you ain't accept my friend request, bro? But you don't want to be my friend.
Friendship is more interesting to me as I get older.
Yeah.
Because I think when I was like 18 to 22, I know it's way younger than 18. Should we talk about this on the pod?
Yeah, talk about it on the pod. Tell me.
Going now?
Yeah, it's all recording now.
Oh my god.
We're ready.
I hate Jacob Lingard's stand-up comedy. Wait, are we recording?
Oh no.
So we're on. It's one of those pods where you're just
Yeah,
on the pod.
I'll introduce you and we can get back into it. Welcome to the Friend Request. I'm your host, Chloe Madron, and I'm joined by the very funny comedian, Billy Darcy. What
Ew.
a champ. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me in the fort.
It's so good to have you here.
Outstanding. I like that there's like any sort of effort that's gone into this whatsoever.
Thank you.
You're already far and away
Thank you.
the most well thought out podcaster in Sydney comedy, I think.
Fuck yes. Suck it, everyone else.
And that's how low the bar is. Blanket fort, and no one's even close to this dude. Like, there's daylight between you and the next person. So
Yes.
I congratulate you on this fantastic pod.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's so sad to take down every single time because I'm like, I want to keep it up. I want to put movies on. Like there have been a couple of nights where I've just kept it up and
Oh, it's got to stay
summer
up.
party. It's so fun.
Yeah, 100%.
But I want it up all the time. I've already mentioned this on the pod, but when the money starts rolling in, I'm going to have a whole room that's a full-time fort. I'm very excited.
Oh my God, yeah.
I know.
I think we all have that, like, when the money starts rolling in thing. My thing is, I just want to buy whatever I want for lunch every day.
Oh, I already do that. All
Really?
my money goes to food.
Yeah, see, my money mostly goes to, like, beers, I think. So you
yeah.
sort of got to pick your poison, literally.
It used to be booze for me.
Yeah. So, but one day, here's the thing is, I just want to be able to have as many beers on the weekend and then roll in on a Tuesday. Like, I've never bought my lunch on a Tuesday. In my existence, I wouldn't think.
Oh my God.
So, it'd just be so reckless, you know, to just throw down like
crazy.
$19
Like
on a
getting ramen?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no. I haven't seen Asian food on a Tuesday in 3 lifetimes, I don't think.
Holy shit.
Craziness, dude. But yeah, that's my thing.
I think you can get there.
It's a pretty low bar.
Yeah.
I've been chipping away at it for a while as well.
Man, I believe in you. I make so little money, but I also have no savings and don't spend on actual good stuff.
Yeah.
But it's because all my money goes to food. And it's not just ordering out or going out whenever I want, but it's also really good ingredients and cooking whatever I want. You know, It's like I feel like this thing. I don't know. I act like a pregnant woman. If I have a craving, I have to have the thing. It's like, yeah, I deserve it. It's a
Obviously.
little treat.
I'm massive
3
on
times a day.
I'm massive on treats. Like my dad's lasting legacy to me. I don't think he would probably say it's something way more important than this, but missions before treats. It was just something he always said, and I've just internalized the fuck out of that.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
So like just getting your work done but then also having a treat.
Yeah, it's just getting your work done, but then also I think sometimes I'll accomplish a very mediocre mission, and then that will explode into outrageous treats.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think he probably could have expanded on that a little bit, like just because you work 3 hours at a casual job on a Friday, you can't then just like blow it out the whole weekend. So
yeah, it's the rules would be helpful.
But if you just go treats before treats, then that's just addiction. So you do have to have some form of mission there.
My mission, I think, is any kind of intense emotion before treats. Like today, I had a cry, and I was like, "Well, I guess I deserve pizza."
Well, because you cried.
Yeah, which is crazy because I cry a lot.
See, I think that explains how toxic of a man I am. Just that one situation. Because if I cried, I'd be the opposite. I'd be thinking, well, you had a cry today, mate, so no pizza for you.
Better go to the gym.
Yeah, crustkets, dry crustkets while you think about why you cried.
When you just said, I think that explains, I was so expecting you to say, why you look so fat.
Oh my God.
I was about to cry again.
And we would have had another cry, and then you would have had some pizza, and I would have had to abstain. Well, you've made Chloe cry. No pizza for you, Bill.
That's a nice rule. Okay. You were saying something before we started recording, talking about friendships. You've been thinking it more as you get older. Now at the ripe old age of what are you? 26?
I'm 28 now.
28, same.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was saying this before the pod, and because, it's a friendship themed podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful theme. Yeah, friendship is more interesting to me as I get older because now it's something it feels like you actually have to try at it.
Yeah.
And also maintain friends you had. Whereas up until I was about 22, I reckon I had, honestly, no joke, 6,000 friends.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I just had the most friends of anyone ever. I was such a popular guy. At least I thought I was. But the thing is, I don't have any... What I'm saying is, when you're in school and you're doing all these activities, you have all these friends, but they're sort of also built into your life. Like, you go to school, all your mates are there. And then, like, when I left school, I would have all my uni mates, and then I had all my mates at cricket, and then I had all my comedy mates, and then I had all my soccer mates, and then I had all my cousins who we were still really close.
Cute.
And you're like, dude, I've got about 45,000 friends. And then you graduate uni, and like cricket's the perfect example. 55, there's 5 teams, 55 blokes. I reckon I had 53 friends out of the 55.
Ooh.
And then you leave cricket.
Yeah.
And you realise you actually had 3 mates.
Yeah.
And like 50 acquaintances.
Yeah.
But
who
you
were
just saw
there.
them at training every week and at the games. And you thought like you had this mad bond with these blokes. Which you do to a certain extent, but then life moves on and stuff, and you have to really make an effort to maintain friendships.
Yes, exactly, and it puts things in perspective of where you and they actually lie in your like rankings.
Yeah, and now I reckon I've got 11 friends, but I like them.
You like them?
Yeah.
Do you have a best friend out of the lot? Or 11 best friends?
I've probably got, maybe 3 or 4 best friends.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to denigrate any one of the lads. If just one of them found out I had chosen one of them, it could send chaos through at least 3 group chats that I know of. So,
are they all boys as well?
Oh, big time. I don't think I have any female friends at all.
It's literally a question I wrote down for this.
Oh, for me specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just curious. I mean, I think we're friends, we're friendly.
We're totally friends. But here's the thing. I've got, I guess you could say I've got shitloads of female friends, but they're all comedians.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like the cricket club thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you get to see them and stuff. So
if one of us stopped comedy, I don't think we're going to be seeing each other after. Actually, we'd probably see you at the pub or something. But
yeah. If I ran into you, I'd say hi. For sure, but
it's just it's true. It's the way it is. I think that that's how life is set up, anyways. From the start with school, it's just proximity. It's even before
it's
school.
Proximity.
It's your fucking neighbors. The neighbors have kids around the same age. Guess what? You guys are best friends now.
Yeah.
And at the time, you think it's this deep thing. We just found each other, but no, you're literally just there.
And Daniel Kitson had this line in this show I saw where he was like, love is just proximity times time.
I was actually thinking the same thing just now as
I mean, God bless him. He's a very talented man, but I think he also probably has depression. And I remember seeing his show being like, wow, what a genius. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Like that, which is, it's not necessarily the vibe I would like my crowd members to leave with, But yeah, and it was kind of, when he said that, I was like, oh, because I think a part of it does ring true.
I think for a lot of people, yeah.
And
I think the kind of people who see romantic relationships as a necessity, I think that's very common, right?
Yeah.
Like the kind of people who are super, I'm going by the rules of society. I will graduate, I'll get a job, I'll get a husband or wife, and I'll have kids. And those kind of people, I think you could put a snowboard with a face drawn on it next to them, and they're gonna hitch. They're getting hitched.
Okay. I am so interested in this because I think you're totally right.
Right.
I've got some mates where they're just, we call them nesters in my group, where there's just
perfect.
From
I call
one
them breeders.
Breeders, nesters. Yeah. It's all the same stuff, and like I've had mates like two-year relationships with like a 2-week gap in between.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, I love you, but also if you weren't here, I would be loving someone else.
Yep.
So it's like,
you're not special.
Is that love? It is love, but it's like kind of devalued love.
Yeah.
It's like gold-coated love.
Yeah, totally.
And
I would never, I'm too egotistical. I could never stand for that. I need to be so special. I basically will only choose people who are going out of their way to avoid relationships because I need to know that I'm special.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's one of those things. I would love to believe that there's just one soulmate for me, and there's some, I don't know, mystical soulmate magic bullshit out there or whatever. But also at the same time, let's say my soulmate's in Sydney, and I haven't met her yet.
Yeah.
Let's say, I don't know, for whatever reason, I have a clip kick off in Iceland, and like I'm just the biggest comedian in Iceland, and I move there. Gun to my head, I would think I would just fall in love with some woman in Iceland.
Of course you would.
Of course you would.
I think it's biology as well, you know?
But it's like, so we do have soulmates, but it's like you probably have like maybe 234 of them.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Which is way less romantic.
It is, but it's helpful. It's good for the
I mean, it kind of fills me with confidence that
it should.
You're not just looking for one chick, you know? You're like, look, there's a few of them around, Bill. Just keep an eye out.
Fine.
This feels like the argument a husband would make to their wife after cheating on them. Like, look, Janine, so let's say I've moved to Iceland, right? Are you saying I wouldn't find love in Iceland?
Oh, man. I think the same can be said for friendships in that it is... It's just easy to connect with people. And I don't know. People do say it's hard.
I was about to say, isn't the premise of this very podcast, isn't the reason I'm in a blanket fort right now that it is not easy to connect with people?
Because I'm a loser.
No. That's episode 1 of the podcast. It's just so easy to connect with people, guys. If anyone's struggling with this, just go fuck yourself, I reckon. You're not allowed in my blanket fort because I've got too many friends already.
Well, I keep getting to a point with guests of realizing that comedy has made it very easy for most of us to make friends.
100%.
You're like the most sporty guy, right?
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Well, I don't really play sport anymore.
But you know about it.
Yeah, I know about it.
I literally tried to write one of the sleepover games about sport and I Googled sport.
What, you just Googled the word sport?
Yeah, I adjusted my search.
Dude, this is why I don't get booked on cool showcases and stuff, because is this what people think of Billy Darcy?
Yeah, they think you're a sporty guy.
Is this Billy Darcy's coming around? Better ask him about sport, and I'm pretty sure he has no female friends whatsoever. So dig into those two topics, and that's pretty much all this fucking idiot would know about. And yes, you have nailed it. Okay, so
no, but I mean, it's a place, it's a community, and
I look at sport and comedy as just the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just an activity.
Yeah,
and it's just everyone. It's so easy to make friends in comedy because you like comedy, and so do the other comedians. So you already have something to talk about.
Yes,
that's the same with cricket or really anything.
I think comedies, I don't know, I don't know sports well, but I think there is an extra level of finding the same funny with people is just a bonding thing anyways in any friendship.
Well, there's different cliques in comedy.
Yes.
1,000,000%.
Yes, and I'd say within those different cliques are different styles of humor.
Yes.
Pretty
much there's two groups. There's people who say the N-word and there's people who don't. Pick your side, gentlemen.
Which side are you?
Whatever one Nat Demeter's not on. That's
but being a super sporty guy growing up, it made it easier. You already said you had 1 million friends, now that you are getting older, you're not playing sport anymore and you're thinking about it. Are you sad? Are you lonely?
Yes, a little. I'm not lonely at all, but it does make me a little bit sad that I don't have like such an enriching social life. But also, I don't know, like I don't think it's really unique to me. I think it's just a part of getting older.
Totally.
Everyone gets busier. Mm-hmm. You can't be hanging out with like your 37th best mate on the weekend. I got to make time for like the top 36.
It's so exhausting.
Yeah. And also like perfect example, I lived my whole life in Manly on the north side of the bridge. Mm-hmm. I've just moved to Surrey Hills this year.
Yeah.
So now I've got to really make the effort. Like when I go north now, I'm taking appointments. Like I got coffee with my sister at 11, lunch with the lads at 1, see my parents at 2, and then like go out to dinner with someone. And then, you got to really make more of an effort.
Yeah, totally.
So it's definitely something I'm way more conscious of now.
Yeah, okay. I feel that. I mean, it's the same with going back to Brisbane. It's same distance pretty much as well.
I mean, the way people carry on in Sydney, it pretty much is the same distance.
I did actually want to ask you a bit about growing up in Manly because I've never been, but I hear everyone's really hot and it's the beach. So can you tell me what it was like growing up just with hot people and beach life?
Yeah, well, it was pretty sick.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah. Everyone there is very attractive.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, they call it the Insular Peninsula because no one really crosses the harbour
Yeah.
bridge. Like, before I started comedy, I'd never really been into the city apart from, like, King's Cross on a Saturday night.
Oh, my God.
So, like, trying to get to Glebe and stuff, I was like, I don't even know where these places are. It was crazy. But basically, yeah, the northern beaches, I don't know, everyone's just pretty well off. They're
Yep.
pretty good looking. They're
Yep.
pretty white. And everything is just sort of, there's not really many struggles over there. It's pretty, there's no real issues. And then I brought that attitude to comedy and I found out there was not really a need for that perspective. I came south of the bridge going, all right, you've got a well-off straight white male. I'm sure you've all been dying to hear this. And I found out it's not in vogue anymore, but...
Was it to a point of like, do you remember the first time you met someone who wasn't white, or is it?
No, it's
Okay,
nothing like
okay.
that. No, Jesus Christ. It's not like a Nazi cult or anything. No, it's just like nowhere near as diverse as south of the bridge, but I played like, you know, just playing team sports.
Oh,
You
of
meet all
course.
sorts.
Of course.
But no, it seemed all pretty normal to me at the time. And then as you get older, you meet other people
Yeah.
and then they're talking about their childhood and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that sounds fucked. And you go, like, I really grew into being well off.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, because as a kid, especially like I went to a private school on the
Yes.
Northern Beaches. So, like, within the confines of that school, I was like not the richest kid there because I lived there. If you go north of the Northern Beaches, like the northern part is like Newport, Avalon. These are like $5 million homes and crazy stuff. And I was well off, but nowhere near as well off as these guys. So, you know, you're in your stupid little bubble thinking, why don't we have a Rolls Royce? This is shit house, you know? Nothing that dramatic. But then as I got older, you know, you go to university,
Yep.
you start comedy, I lived in the north of England for a year in like this shithole village. And you start looking around going like, oh, I think my childhood was like unbelievable.
yeah.
And
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I think I've got a lot more grateful for it in hindsight.
Yeah.
Also, there's no 14-year-old out there that's like filled with gratitude.
No. Kids and teenagers are awful.
Yeah.
Just the worst.
So definitely, in hindsight now, I'm like, that was unreal.
Yeah. Because of all the money floating around, did you have like really cool sleepovers with friends? I feel like the girls probably would have done it better.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm talking like go-karts, great snacks, theater rooms, anything like this.
Theatre rooms. No, I went to like St. Augustine's. It's like, it's just a private Catholic boys' school, but it's
Yeah.
not like a GPS school. It's not like not like a theatre room. You'd be going to like Knox or Shaw or Kings or something, you know. That's where those blokes, their dads are like starting wars and shit.
Okay.
And, you know, running News Corp. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But, I mean, there was plenty of flat screen TVs and those fridges where you could just press the button and the ice would just make itself.
Oh,
It was-
okay.
dude, no one was making their ice on the Northern Beaches. Okay? If you had an ice cube tray, you were poor as shit. That was the vibe.
That sounds so cool. There was a girl in my primary school who was definitely the richest. I mean, this was a public school in that suburb was nice, but the whole area not great. And she was definitely the most noticeably rich because her parents would sometimes just deliver her Pizza Hut to school or
Oh.
give her McDonald's. And I stayed at her place a couple times, and she did have go-karts, and she had
Wait, whoa. She had go-karts.
yeah.
Like in her backyard.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was awesome. And a big sign of wealth to me was that her parents had a Skyline with with like a spoiler on the back. And I was like, whoa,
Oh,
it's so broken.
that makes it go faster.
But no.
Do you
I
ever
just-
go to a friend's house now as an adult?
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing. I feel like as a kid, you don't really understand class and stuff like as much. Why would you?
Well, you
So-
don't if you don't have to.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I didn't have to, so it wasn't something that kept me up at night. But then, as an adult, do you ever go to someone's, like a friend's parents' place, and it sort of fills in a bit of their personality?
Yeah.
You're like,
holy
oh,
shit.
this is why you are the way you are.
I would love to meet all my closest friends' parents, if those that
Yeah.
haven't, because it is so fun. And definitely seeing like the people who have their parents are still in their childhood houses. Oh my God, show me.
Yeah.
Show me everything. Sorry, there's a moth flying around. Or a fly. Oh, gross. I'm going to call it a moth. Yeah, it's so cool. It's so much fun. You do that often?
Oh, no, but it's come up every now and then.
Yeah.
I just remember one time went to a mate's place, and he was like, can I get you some food or something? Like, we just did up some crepes. And I was like, what? Crepes? Like, just casually just having crepes. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, yeah, this is like a little window into
Yeah.
how you grew up. Like, I didn't know you could... I thought you had to get crepes at a restaurant. I didn't know you could make crepes in your own home.
You know what's funny though? Like my mum and my stepdad doing amazing. Actually, so is my dad and my stepmom. All my parents are doing amazingly nowadays, but they live very differently to how I grew up. So it'd be
How so?
interesting. Like they have more money than when I was a kid, you know?
Because they don't have to pay for you, or did something kick off?
Things have kicked off. You know, my mom's got her own business. My stepdad, when they got married, I was a teenager, and like he was better with money, had money, and so you know things kind of moving into better places and that sort of stuff. My dad, similar. His wife is a real estate agent, so it's just like they're married up. Really,
It's never too late.
it's never too late.
They were watching that seminar where the guy's like, your 40s, your 50s, you can still achieve your dreams. That's the thing. Go to that seminar. Don't even listen. Just fuck someone who did.
That's so smart.
That is smart.
Shit.
Write that one down.
No, but I'm conscious of that now. If someone were to come to see my mum's house, I'd be like, just so you know,
Oh, this is...
I didn't grow up like this. Okay, this is a fucking nice place.
This wasn't what it was like. You
we
weren't
were eating
here.
baked beans,
What do,
tuna.
what do you think is the obsession with... This was definitely a thing. Maybe, I don't know. I feel just so naked revealing my privilege south of the bridge like this. But I feel like when you're a kid, and even maybe as a bit more as an adult, like people are always like, no, we're not that rich. Well, no, we're not that wealthy. It's just a nice fridge or whatever.
Yep.
What is that thing of trying to pretend you're less rich than you are?
It's because of...
Because that's that insecurity you were just talking about.
Yeah.
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 And I totally get that as well.
It's the way that society values victimhood at the moment. I would
Yeah.
say.
I would agree with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got to be... Oh, man, let me tell you about this. Today, the reason I cried so much, a stranger yelled at me till I was crying.
Really?
Yeah, it was awful. I'm a dog walker, and I had a few dogs with me, and I was just walking up the street in Newtown. One of my dogs, they're all little, but one of them, she likes to eat other dogs. So if I see another dog off leash, like I'll turn around. And that happened. This massive dog, which I'm like, super trust that dog, but I don't trust her. And if she starts going, then it could be terrible. So I just turn around, but the dog starts running over. And I was like, I'm so sorry. This dog is not good with other dogs. I'm so sorry. Could you get your dog? And the person's just like not getting their dog. And the dog's running over. And I'm just trying to walk away to get the dog to stop. And then I start going, ah. And again, I'm like, I'm sorry because I feel bad for the dog. She just wants to say hi.
This sounds so stressful.
It was so
How many dogs do you have
I
going?
had 3.
Oh, okay.
Not too bad, but one of them's an old girl as well, and I don't want her to just get squished in the mess of it. It was just so stressful. And then this woman's yelling at me, and I was just like, can you just get your dog? And she was like, you're fucking privileged. You've got... What did she say? She was like, oh, yeah. Fuck, what's the word? I told Jacob. It was basically like, oh, yeah, you're so... privileged, or oh my god, this is killing me that I've forgotten the word. Entitled was the word I was trying to think of. That's what the woman was calling me.
What? Does privilege fit?
Pretty much. It didn't make any sense for what was going on. And I was like, I'm just trying to protect your dog and mine. It's my dog that's the problem. I started saying sorry to the dog. And she's like, why are you sorry? Why are you sorry? You're a fucking idiot. And I was like, she's like, what did you do? And I was like, no, nothing. I'm just sorry that I'm freaking out. This is stressful and I'm trying to get away. And she was like, yeah, oh, you and all your privilege, or you're so, what's the thing when you expect something?
Oh,
Like
okay.
you
expect something, you
You
are...
expect to get what you want. Entitled. What is that fucking word?
Kind of.
I can edit this out. This is going to kill people.
Yeah.
It's going to kill me in the edit.
You expect something. Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll edit it in when I remember. Something along the lines of like, you're privileged. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Does she think because they're all your dogs and you've got so much money for dogs?
Maybe. I don't know if it's just because I'm like, she was trans and I'm a
Whoa.
white woman. Buried the lead.
Whoa, okay. Hang on a minute.
It felt like that. Like it was, you just have
She was a
whatever
trans
you
woman?
want. Yeah, she was a trans woman. You just have whatever you want. And I was like, I'm not trying to take any, I'm just trying to go. She's like, you shouldn't have started walking away. And she was just yelling at me, calling me an idiot.
What are the optics on getting abused by a trans woman? Because I feel like imagine, I don't know,
not great.
the head of the Melbourne Comedy Festival walks into the Newtown Park and you're just abusing a trans woman with no context. It's like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Chloe Madron.
Well, I did say
This is
back
Brisbane
to her.
comedians for you.
No.
We told you what they're like up there.
No, my comeback was, that's really mean. Whatever she was saying, it wasn't great. But you reminded me because there is this whole thing of like, oh, I'm a victim in like an in-person confrontation to be like, oh, here you are up on your high horse, you white girl with your 3 dogs.
Yeah. That's crazy. Was this trans woman
talking
also
about?
black?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Man, that was getting wild.
I'm sorry I ruined the story by forgetting what she actually said.
Yeah. I mean, you forgot that they were trans and you forgot what they said.
I did.
So, it's kind of 2 details that we would have loved to have heard a little bit earlier in that piece. I'm glad I didn't tee off being like, yeah, this dumb bitch. Like,
I don't know. Maybe that's equality.
But it's interesting now because I feel like social media, everyone wants to seem super rich, like they're kicking it.
That's
You know,
true.
all those posts of like, people like they want you to seem like they've always, anytime someone who works in an office works outside of an office, it's straight on Instagram, water in the background and
Workplace
a coffee.
today.
Not a bad office. Today's workplace, sunglass emoji. And then you
I've
go,
done it.
And then if you go up to them and you go, man, it seems like you work a really cool job. You must make lots of money at your cool job. They'll be like, whoa,
no,
where'd you
no.
get that idea, mate? Like,
Like I've got a lot. Like, rent's really high. I got to pay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It feels deeply Australian. I think it's global as
Whoa.
well, but it is, right?
I think it is deeply Australian.
Yeah. Tall poppy syndrome thingy. No, not me. I'm a little piece of shit. I'm just a bit of dirt rolling around on the ground.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely something to this tall poppy thing. I think on one side it's good because we don't brag.
Yeah.
And also, like, if someone just brags openly in front of me, I'll be like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this
Really?
is, oh my craziness, dude. I can't even handle it. If someone's just openly bragging, that's insane to me. But also, I think it manifests in like, don't ever be proud of anything you've ever done.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite UFC fighters is this chick, Casey O'Neill, and she's half Scottish, half Australian. And it breaks my heart. She said Australian fans are 20 times worse than Scottish fans. Like,
Jesus.
as far as like just how toxic they are and stuff.
Okay.
And she's quoted that like, in Australia there's this tall poppy thing, like people don't want to see you like, kicking off or being arrogant or anything. Like it's like you can, like we have this thing in Australia. I used to have this line in a joke, but I don't think the joke was very good. But in Australia, I think you can be successful, but you have to be embarrassed about it. You can be like world champion and be like, oh my God, guys, no, I just was training at this kickboxing gym and now I'm the world champ. This is embarrassing. No, honestly, guys, I'm not even that good at kickboxing. The guy's like unconscious behind you. You're like, that was so lucky what just happened. Like, they're like revived. I'm sure they'll revive him. I am not even good at kickboxing, guys.
That's so true.
And that's kind of the vibe here.
Completely.
And then you think, oh, this is so toxic. Why are we like this? And then you meet an American who's like doing their LinkedIn profile in front of you. And you're like, it just makes my blood go the other way.
Yeah.
Like, so it's hard to find a balance. I think what we have is better than just bragging openly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I do like to, with my very best friends. Cameron Duggan is classic for this. I'd love to tell Duggan what I've nailed lately. You know what I'm killing it at?
Oh,
Because he's
yeah.
one of my best friends. And I don't know why. I feel like I need to prove something to him, which is not healthy.
I don't know why you would ever express any achievement in front of that man.
It's literally what Jacob says every time. But every single time I'm like, oh, that's not true. Not every time. He's chilling out since he's been in love. But
Yeah,
know.
strong rebrand from Duggan in
I
2023.
know.
Who saw that coming?
I know, dating a vegan, very exciting.
A butcher and a vegan. I mean, don't tell Disney about this. They will get their hands
So cute.
all over this dude.
But no, he is very quick to call me out when I tell him a thing, and it's because I'm proud of myself and I want my friends to be proud of me.
Yeah.
But I'll always say it in a way of like, oh, you know, I've just done this, but oh, it's not that great.
I know. Especially
terrible.
with comedy, sometimes people will do things and you're like, I can't remember who, but I don't know who I was talking to, but a comedian was like, yeah, this thing happened. Yeah, it's not too bad. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? This is insane. This is crazy, dude. I was like, it was someone who got like, not Conchetta, but it was someone who got like a Triple J level achievement.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
someone got a big radio or TV
Yeah.
thing. I can't remember who. And they were like, yeah, you know, see how it goes. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is unbelievable, mate. Like, hype up the energy. This is
Yeah.
this is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But I think we definitely have that thing where it's like,
We're almost there because I think you're right. It's too cringy to go fully brag. But I think that doing that with your friends and really hyping them up, I do the same. I think that's a very nice way to make it a little better, a little bit less toxic.
yeah, 100%. I get my bragging out just to Rowan Arneal after like 12 beers in a dark room. I'm like, some things are actually going really well. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone or I'll kill you. And I've got him up against the wall. He's like, I won't tell.
Is he happy for you?
He doesn't show it, but no, he is.
All right, so I have some more friendship questions.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the childhood, the boys' school. Do you think that going to a boys' school stopped you from being naturally friends with girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've actually thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because, well, firstly, a bit of a sidebar, but private school is just so expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the return on investment was like. Me personally, like, I didn't, like, I did well academically, but I don't know, like, are you sending your kids to private school so they can become good people? Because some of the blokes in my year were absolute cunts. And then one of my best mates went to a public school and he's like a legend. So I think that's more on the parents' side. And then
Yeah.
academics wise, like my brother works in IT sales or some shit. He's so bright, killing it. Absolutely killing it in some big corporate job. But then me and my sister, like I've obviously gone into comedy. My sister's not academic at all. And my
Okay.
parents spent probably, I don't know, like $200,000 sending her to this crazy school. And she's just, and it's just not her, it's just not her bag.
Yeah.
Like there's no school on the planet where she would have been interested in it or done well. So it's
Yeah.
just so much money to spend on this thing that's not
When
even...
you don't even know
Yeah.
as well. They're not fully formed humans.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going to be fucking
Yeah.
interested in.
And then also, I do think I'm not sure about single-sex education.
I do not think it's good.
I don't know what the benefit was, because if there's this idea out there that men become more tame when they're just around other men,
No.
that is insanity,
It's
dude.
crazy.
I saw some of the most... Like, any PTSD I have from high school is because there were no women around.
Yeah.
Like, blokes aren't, like, taking shit in lockers if there's 3 hot chicks looking at them.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's yeah, completely understand. It's the exact same mentality as what do they call it when they say just don't have sex as a way of safe sex?
Abstinence?
Abstinence. It's
And-
exactly abstinence mentality. I'm sorry, there's a fly in here.
No,
This
don't
is
worry about
awful.
But it's that thing, and then you hear that, you know, there's that cliche that the Catholic school girls who are abstaining from sex, they're like the wildest chicks.
Yeah, butt stuff.
Yeah. Doing it in the ear and shit, you know? Loopholes. But I think, to be honest, obviously it's not my realm, but I could totally hear an argument for all-female education if you want to hide women away from rabid teenage boys.
Yeah.
But I'm telling
also,
you...
boys are quite distracting in
Yeah,
school.
this idea that you can just put all boys together and tie them up in little suits. Who's the Sydney comedian who has that joke about dressing... Oh, Heath Franklin has this great joke about why do we have to dress our children up as little businessmen to send them to learn about like triangles. So true. And
So true.
we're all just there going to our all boys school in our blazers and our ties. As soon as the gates close, it's a fucking zoo. Like,
Yeah.
just wild shit happening.
You're one of the few people I'm friends with who went to an all-boys school. Or
That's the
that-
other thing. I've had some people say like, "Oh, all boys school, red flag."
It is.
And I'm like-
Absolutely.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. I think
But-
I've dated maybe one, maybe two in my life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good.
Well, I think it just makes blokes so much more rabid. I think it just brings out all the worst parts of the male ego because it's like, sweet, there's no chicks around. Now we can just focus on who's the biggest and who's the best at sport. And it's like, also ask some of the gay guys from my year if they had a good time. They did not. They did not have a good time in 2008 at an all-boys private school. Okay? None of them
God.
came to the reunion last year.
Oh my God. Ben, you had a reunion. I think I missed the invite to my reunion.
Oh, we had one, yeah.
I'm so jealous.
The 10-year reunion was actually great because, like, it evaporated all the cliques.
Yeah.
I was hanging out with the rugby guys, like the drug guys, like the nerds I still kept at arm's length, but
Of course.
it was really fun. It was like everyone was just hanging out.
Fuck, I'm so jealous.
It was very cool.
That's all right. I'm holding out for whatever the next reunion is, because now I've got like a bunch of Instagram followers.
I was about to say you'll be skipping it now with 100,000 followers. Hey guys, why did we
Hey,
do
what was
this
your name
last year? But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I'm not sure it's the best thing. Single sex education for boys, especially like because I started drinking maybe a bit later than most, like sort of more 16, 17. I think the cooler kids in my year were doing more like 14, 15.
Yeah, okay.
But then, so if you're not really going to house parties at like 14, 15, then you're sort of like not really interacting. You sort of don't interact with women from
Yeah.
like 12 to 15,
Yeah.
which seems like a pretty,
Unless you've
Weird.
got like you've got a sister.
I do have a
what's
sister,
the age
yeah.
difference with your sister?
she's 21. She's 7
Okay.
years younger than me.
That's a lot younger. We
Yeah.
don't
So
wanna fuck
now me and
those.
her, she's like my best female friend.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't really count.
No.
Um,
Well, yeah.
But now me and her are like great mates. But when I was 12, 13, she was 6.
Yeah.
So the only women in my life when I'm 13 years old, which is quite a seminal moment, the only women in my life are my mum and my 6-year-old sister.
Fuck, that's
Is this the
so
launching pad for a
odd.
fully fleshed gentleman to be flung into the world? Like,
That's so nice.
Yeah.
How can I ask, how would you consider yourself with women? Like, you know how people say they're good with women, they're bad with women, like in a sex and dating way.
I think I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good, but
that's great.
it's fine. But like dating wise, I feel like dating is like Nutrigrain. You only get out what you put in. You know, I feel like if you just sort of if you make the effort with dating, I think it's fine.
Is that a Nutrigrain slogan?
I think it was definitely maybe Powerade or something.
Okay.
There was definitely a breakfast cereal that told me that. But I think with dating, if you just make the effort,
Yeah.
like I'm not on the apps or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's because like comedy and stuff, we're
There's-
out and about anyway.
Oh, totally.
Friends
Ugh.
are friends. But I think with dating, if you just make the effort, and I'm like very outgoing and stuff.
Yeah.
So it suits
yeah.
me fine. But I think definitely from like 18 to, I don't know, 22 or whatever. I mean, yeah, then you're just at uni 18.
Yeah.
And this is like the first classroom I've ever been in with women since like primary school.
Oh my God, did you come in your pants?
Oh my God, I couldn't focus on the board.
Exploded.
The first semester was a write-off. But also, like, at the same time, like, it's not really that big of a deal. But
No, of course it's not. That's the thing. They make it out like, oh, these sluts, they're going to distract you.
Yeah.
They're going to keep them away. It's like, it's just people. This is, I personally think that it can very easily, extend this toxic masculinity of women aren't people or equals. They're kind of a sex thing exclusively. I
yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah, I think I definitely missed out on, like, high school dating to a certain extent because I didn't really
Yeah.
start dating any girls till I was, like, 17.
Yeah.
Not because
okay.
I was some freak or anything. I just
You're
didn't really
ugly.
know any. Yeah, I did hit puberty at like 21, so that might be the real reason for my resurgence. But yeah, I think I didn't like have like a girlfriend when I was 15 or anything. So I guess maybe it slows down your, I don't know, you just didn't get heartbroken as early. It'd be good to just get a heartbreak out of the way at 15, just to knock it over.
Totally.
My first proper heartbreak was at 23. And at that point, like, I've got to pay rent and shit. I can't deal with this.
No, it's not good. I've broken a 23-year-old's heart, and it sucked. Bleeding into their real life, you know? It's like...
Yeah. I got to go to work, mate.
It's awful.
I got to go to work. I'm like... And they're like, welcome to the stage, Billy Darcy. I'm like, I don't feel like laughing right now. And I'm behind on rent. Like, why couldn't I do this in year 9?
Oh,
like,
God.
So I think probably little things like that, developmentally, it probably fucks you up. But... At the same time, I don't really...
Oh, you're
I mean,
good.
I wouldn't
You're
change
good.
it. I wouldn't change anything. Yeah,
of course.
I'd like to put on the record now that I would not go back now and date a 15-year-old girl. I don't think that's... I don't think you can... I don't think you can fix it in post.
Some of the listeners might have thought that you had a red flag with the all-boys school, but that is
Do you think
such
that's
a green flag.
That's clean.
Huge.
That's cleared it up massively.
Totally.
And I thought I would just get out in front of that.
There's one more thing I would like to mention because I had written it down. No, actually, no, that's weird. I was just going to say that you're so nice.
Yeah, this is a bit more sort of psychological than I thought this podcast. I'm like, wait, do I have like stunted development issues with women? Like,
oh my God, no.
I'm just, well,
It's where the conversation went more
No.
conceptually than about
No,
you.
it's just I've never spoken about like this before.
Yeah.
In this way. And it's just funny to have this conversation for the first time on a microphone and have it like spat out to the world. But I'm like, yeah, I guess it just sort of took me a while to get going.
I'm sorry. This is the thing. I'm not marketing this podcast as like a comedy strictly podcast. It's about friendship, you know, and we can get a little wholesome. We can get a little earnest at times. So
I love it. I
appreciate you opening up.
No. You caught me with my pants down massively.
No, another thing I just wanted to mention, I guess, is that like I think, you know, it's easier to make friends because you've had sport, you've had a lot of communities around you, but you are just a really likable guy. And I have made like comments to Jacob, especially when I first moved down here, you know, we'd already met. But you're always very inclusive with people around you, even though like I think that you and most comedians can, you know, be jumping at the riff and wanting to chat, and everyone's really chatty, you know, in comedy and hanging out. But you're very inclusive, and it's always really nice. Something that I noticed, I was like, oh, Billy's so lovely. He goes, oh, Chloe, what do you reckon about this? And
that's
cool.
nice. Okay, well, that's good feedback. Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure about that. Like, as far as it's not something I do intentionally, but I think team sport is really good for like making you better socially.
Yeah,
I would say anything like, I don't know, like any social holes I might have, like I'd say the reason I am pretty good socially, or at the very least enjoy social situations, is because of team sport. Because like you, especially when you get into adult team sport, you'll have like, you know, this bloke's out of prison and this bloke's a corporate banker.
Yeah.
And I'm a uni student and we're all in the same team.
Yeah.
So, and you know, people are from all walks of life and that sort of thing.
You got to get good at just conversation with randos.
Yeah. And also because I host a lot in comedy, and I think when you're the host, you should make the effort to introduce yourself to the acts if you don't know them. Just ask them. I always ask people, do you want me to say anything specific if I don't know them?
Yeah.
Or just weird housekeeping shit I don't actually give a fuck about, but I just think it's nice. Like, it's not a good feeling when you're on at a show and the MC doesn't even talk to you before he brings you up.
Yep.
Just stuff like that.
It's awful. And it's weird. It's phony, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then they go, great act.
Yeah.
Billy Darcy. I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah. And also I hate it when it's like the MC doesn't want to talk to you and then like you go up and have a mad set and then they're like, what was your name again, mate? And it's like, we don't really play those games.
Oh,
you know,
that's the worst.
Because there's a lot of comedians, not a lot, but there's some, and I've definitely noticed this in the last few years of my career, where they'll treat you a certain way based on not how you are as a person, but how funny you are, or like your sort of reputation in the scene.
Yeah.
Like there's older comedians who didn't talk to me for my first 5 years of my career.
Yep.
And now they're like, hey, how you going, Bill?
Yep.
And it's like, I was actually as nice as I am now 5 years ago. But now you're like, oh, this guy is someone I should know.
Yep.
And now it's in your best interest to say hi to me. I mean, you've just whipped into 100,000 followers over like 2 months. You must be getting this on steroids.
It's so noticeable. It's
Yeah,
so
and
embarrassing.
It's not like you're a complete bitch before.
No.
Yeah, and I think you should always separate the act from the person. Like I have friends who I hate their act, and I have people who I love their act, and they're a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. I was talking about this on last week's episode, like came out today. But with Alan Fang, because he's still, he's a couple of years in, and he was like, "Oh yeah, could you be friends with someone, or when you see them and they're bad at comedy?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm friends with you. Fuck it."
Yeah.
But it's so insane, and I think it is a very green thing. Which feels stupid coming from me because I'm only 5 years old. I'm well aware that I'm still a baby. But it's disgusting. It's the most gross thing ever. Just this, like, Jacob and I refer to it as festival club mentality.
Oh, nice. Yeah, totally.
It's everyone's looking over their shoulder, seeing if there's someone bigger and better to talk to.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of the vibe of like, do I have to be nice to you?
Yep.
Whereas outside of comedy, you don't. If I met one of your friends at a house party, I don't go, sorry, what do you do? Are you could you just tell me your salary so I can adjust my attitude for this conversation? Like, so there's definitely that with comedy, especially before and after COVID. I noticed like there were older comedians before COVID would just walk past me, and then like after COVID, it's been a couple of years or whatever, and now they're like, hey man, great set, brother. Like, love your work. And it's like, that's the same joke as before COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just really phony.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. The compliments on the bits and the just straight after the sets thing is so noticeable. Like, I feel like I am finally coming into my own voice and actually happy with what I'm writing and stuff. It's coincided with getting a lot of followers and attention and whatever, but it's I don't believe anyone when I come off stage and like, loved that joke. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I know. Yeah, I try. I still do this sometimes, but I try to be genuine with my good sets. Like,
me too.
I used to hand out, like, you could say the N-word and vomit on stage. I'd be like, great set, Chloe. You're a gem,
and
babe.
I do often. That's actually my closer.
And I try not to do that anymore. Like, I like to, and there are some people who have got a phony good set from me this year. But especially when you're emceeing, you don't want to be a piece of shit.
Totally.
But I like to think now, if you get a good set from me, I mean it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I like to usually, if I can remember a specific joke, I'll say, I like that joke.
Yes.
So it seems genuine. And I try, if you eat shit, I'll black you.
Yeah.
I'll just,
If someone eats shit and then my friend, I mean, obviously I can make fun of them and that's fun. But if I didn't like it, I think, what do I go with? Like was that fun?
Yeah. I tell you what I say. Like, actually, just on this perfect example, last night I did this gig in Panania.
Yeah.
It was like way out west. And I come off, I had a pretty up and down set. / I had a bad set. Mm-hmm. And then probably I got this serial killer chunk at the end. It goes for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And that actually did pretty well.
Yeah.
Before that, I couldn't really get their number. They were old. And I'm very cool and trendy, so they probably didn't get it.
Of course.
And
young.
I honestly just didn't do well in the first 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I come off, and Andrew Hamilton goes, mate, I like that serial killer stuff at the end.
Yeah.
Which I liked because that bit actually did well.
Yeah.
And he liked it. He didn't say, great set, because I didn't have a good set.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh, of course.
It was just like a genuine comment.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And also, I know when I've had a bad set, so I don't need you coming up to being like, great set, man. It's like, that's actually makes me feel more awkward. Whereas he was like, hey, that serial killer thing cranks. And it did crank.
Yeah.
And the rest of the set didn't crank.
Yeah.
So that's why it was just stuff like that,
Yeah.
But what were you saying before?
About what?
I went off on that Hamilton thing because it was at the top of my mind. But
no, I don't know.
About saying, just being genuine with comedians and stuff. I can't remember.
That doesn't matter. Let's move on to the games.
Oh yeah, the sleepover games.
We got some sleepover games. You excited?
Yeah. What are they?
We've got Would You Rather, Fuck, Marry, Kill, and Truth or Dare.
Cool. Let's do it.
You know all these games?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I don't know. Some people might not. I just think it's good to check. Okay. Would you rather only ever eat cum, but it tastes like whatever you want and the very best version of that, or just eat regular?
Is the nutritional what's the nutrition? Like, am I just getting the pure, like, am I just having basically protein shakes and they taste whatever I like? Because that's not bad. I could be lean and mean.
Yeah, it's the ideal nutrition.
It's the ideal nutrition.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, food's not my biggest vice. I think I would go cum.
Awesome.
Because cum's
It'd be
just
so much easier.
so lean and mean.
And you've got it right there.
Yeah.
Great. I think it's fucked up and I would never choose that, but I'm so happy for you.
Was I supposed to think about that for longer?
No.
Oh,
Absolutely not. You do with these games whatever you want.
Okay. Next question. I'm like, come again. Like,
There's no more come. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill.
okay.
I think this one's going to be tricky.
Ooh.
I've got 2 fuck, marry, kills, but this one, fuck, marry, kill, Russell Brand, Johnny Depp, and Chris D'Elia. Bow, bow, bow.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'd like to just get out in front of this and say I was a massive fan of each of these men.
Yeah.
Chris D'Elia, so fuck, marry, kill. Okay.
That's why I chose them, because I thought that you might be, especially Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, I was massive into Chris D'Elia.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna marry Johnny Depp because he's so goddamn suave, and I think, do you know what I mean? Half the time he's doing gear anyway, so I think you could just do drugs with him.
Yeah.
And just have a great time.
Okay.
I think I would kill Chris D'Elia just because I felt so betrayed as a fan. He's like, we're here for a silly goose time and that's it. And it's like, but that wasn't it, was it, Chris?
You didn't get any vibe when he was calling everyone his babies and saying he wanted to start a fucking cult?
I thought that was just good old fashioned American banter. And also his whole vibe was like, I don't give a fuck about anything. Like,
Yes.
I'm not interested in fame, or I don't drink or do drugs. Like, I just like comedy. And it's like, well, fuck it, mate. You're actually like a massive sex addict and you love underage women. Like, this is a complete antithesis of the log,
betrayal.
you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then, I'd have to kill Russell Brand just because
No, you said you were killing Chris D'Elia.
Oh, no. Oh, I said I was killing Chris D'Elia. No, I said I would
You'll
fuck Russell Brand. Just because I think Russell Brand has a better head of hair than Chris D'Elia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good choice. I think.
And he's got those wild necklaces.
He could be better at sex too. I mean, his
Oh my
problem was
God,
that he's
dude.
too horny in like a more regular way than Chris D'Elia. Like, at least Russell Brand would be like, all right, I'm just being a little cheeky.
I feel like Russell Brand, I'd fuck Russell Brand because he's basically Chris D'Elia, but with a more fun accent and a necklace.
Oh wait, no, that's right. I forgot his were young too. Okay, great answers.
Yeah. We're like splitting hairs. Like, who's less of a pedophile rapist? Like,
Honestly,
Jesus Christ.
that was a really, really good answer. Actually, I think I'd have to agree.
Well, they were good people to pick for me.
Thank you. I thought so
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Thank you. I do my research.
Nice.
Speaking of this next one, it's going to be tough, but in a different way.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill. Bags, bucket hats, and the boys.
Bags, bucket hats, and the boys. Okay. I would kill Bags. I'm actually not that into Bags.
Yeah.
Bags are into me. You know what I mean?
You can't help it.
I'm just with me and Bags. When they're there, and if they're not, they're not. The thing with
Yeah.
Bags is, no one ever wants to do them alone because you feel like a junkie. So
I
then
do.
there's so
Sorry.
much of this like, come on, oh, you want to do a line? You want to do a line? Like, I'm never the guy being like, let's get it in. Like, they just come in, and then I'm sitting there, and they're like, let's do a line, and then so that's how that happens.
Okay. Yeah. Easy
And
call.
also, they're just expensive.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's on, it's on. So I kill the Bags. And then, was it fucking marry bucket hats or the boys? Mm-hmm. I would have to fuck the bucket hat.
Easy.
Just because I do feel very passionately about them. Mm-hmm. And also the bucket hat, you know, people think, oh, this guy just loves bucket hats because he looks so fucking hot in them. But they're actually fantastic sun protection
They're
as well.
very useful. I got one
Yeah.
recently, but unfortunately I got it a little too small because I wanted it to be more fashionable.
Yeah,
than-
see, you got to find
yeah.
that line between fashion and sun
It was
safety.
very hard.
And then I would marry the boys because,
Obviously.
you know, they've
You-
always been there for me.
Beautiful. We're up to our last game. Truth or dare?
Oh boy.
Truth or dare?
Oh, don't I? Oh, I have to pick before.
You have to pick.
Oh, truth.
Truth. Okay. Do you get lonely doing your pod?
Do I get lonely doing my podcast?
Mm-hmm. Billy has a solo podcast for any listeners who aren't aware.
I mean, no. I actually like it.
Okay.
I like doing it. I get lonely afterwards. More like sometimes the editing the pod fills me with such wild levels of self-hatred that I think, what is the point of this? Like, you're just listening back to it, especially a solo podcast. At least if this sucks, you can blame me. Like, I have to just listen to it just being like, you are a fucking loser. Like, and you just hear everything, like every time you say,
I know.
every time you don't, you're just like, why did you say that? So I would say I enjoy being like, what's on this week's podcast? And then I enjoy doing it. And then afterwards, just not loneliness, but a lot of self-loathing.
Yep.
Depending on the week.
Yeah, no, that's very understandable. I have done a few solo episode records for a new Patreon coming out.
Oh, nice.
And completely relate. That's very understandable.
I think it's good to have the solo one behind the Patreon, just so like less pressure. Like,
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Look, I'm sorry, my truths weren't great. I had another truth option, but I wanted to dare you.
What was the dare?
This is what I was Googling sport about. I was going to dare you to ask, Rowan O'Neill, either if he's heard of Taylor Swift's boyfriend or if he knows what sport Rohit Sharma plays. Just like something really dumb that he would know.
And I don't think he would know either of those things.
Really?
No, Rowan O'Neill's, he's in Rowan O'Neill's world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's not really on social media that much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it would have been a bad dare anyways. I'm glad I told you.
It would have just been Rowan going like, why the fuck are you calling me? You know that fun thing when like American comedians will be like, call up their friend and be like, heads up, man, you're on a podcast.
You're on the pod.
Yeah. It's just like, Rowan would not have enjoyed that at all. He would have been like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah. I mean, that could have been fun for me.
Yeah.
So I think the dares are all for me.
I guess so.
Anyways, it's been so nice to have you.
Yeah, cool. This was really fun.
I'm so glad.
Thanks for having me.
Tell the
I feel
listeners?
like this is by far the most vulnerable I've ever been, which speaks to your great questions and also how high my walls are. So we both have takeaways, I think.
Well, I appreciate the vulnerability.
You seduced me with the pillow fort or whatever.
Yes, that's the aim.
It was the pink. I started opening up. Fuck. No pizza for me after this, hey?
You gotta go lift a car or something. Prove your masculinity.
100%.
You want to tell the listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, Billy Darcy. Sorry, I got some popcorn in my throat. Felt like I was about to cry there. But yeah, Billy Darcy on all social media. And I have a podcast called Get Around Me.
Yep.
And the first half is a solo pod, and then the second half is me and Rowan O'Neill, who's really funny. And Billy Darcy on like YouTube and TikTok and everything.
Easy. Beautiful.
Cool.
Get into it. Thank you all for listening. Bye.
You're my friend.